Okay, hi, my name is Joy. The claim I'll be responding to, which is from Pablo Ramirez, he said that corporations and private organizations should not be allowed to hack back against cyber attackers. His opponent secondary claims that the legality of corporate warfare, cyber warfare is messy, and the potential for involving third parties. 3, the escalation of cyber warfare and cybercrime is a norm. His definition of hacking back is the act of retaliating using cybersecurity systems against alleged attackers by a corporate or private entity. And the attack assumption definition is that my opponent also thinks that there is pressure by major companies to be allowed the legal ability to fight back. His example was that in CISPA, immunity provision was that they would allow corporations to aggressively combat cybersecurity threats. Response to secondary claim 1, evidence challenges, where he talks about legality of corporate warfare. I feel like that the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act of 1984 doesn't have anything to do with legality of corporate cyber warfare, since people don't have any respect, and that Congress places responsibility of enforcing and when establishing laws. So first and foremost, like I said, my opponent didn't really clarify on the legality of corporate cyber warfare, since I feel like whether he was supporting the claim for corporations and private organizations that they should be allowed to hack back when informing cyber intelligence Sharing and Protect Act, which stands for CISPA. He also didn't abbreviate what that stands for, and there was no type of sources of where he got his information from by not giving the author credit. Pablo, in fact, pointed out that there are difficulties of cyber warfare and identifying attackers that are vulnerable for potential damage, escalating norms. Moving on to challenges. However, according to RT.com, USA, Congress House of Bill CISPA 031 stated that CISPA was basically brought to society for attention towards the end of 2011, where it didn't get passed by the Senate. But the good news is that in February, President Obama had signed an executive order by improving cybersecurity protection stated during his annual State of the Union address order that earlier. And what he said that earlier today I signed a new executive order that would strengthen our cyber defenses by increasing information sharing and developing centers to protect our national security, our jobs, and our privacy. Now Congress must act as well by passing legislation to give our government a greater capacity to secure our networks and deter attacks. Now that the United States House of Representatives did pass the Cyber Intelligence Sharing and Protect Act, lawmakers that Thursday afternoon ended up accepting the bill. There was a vote of 288 to 127. Obama signed the bill after urging Congress to adopt a new cybersecurity bill that now allows the government agencies to share cybersecurity information with private companies. My counterclaim is that although my opponent thinks there is no legal regulation of what effectively amounts to digital vigilantism, and that broad language for immunity would allow private entities to retaliate against perceived cybersecurity threats, TechNet President Ray Ramsey, who sent a letter, which is from RT.com, USA Google lobby backs CISPA 792, / to Reps Rogers and Ruppers, saying his group thinks CISPA recognizes the need for effective cybersecurity legislation that encourages voluntary, bi-directional, real-time sharing of actionable cyber threat information to protect networks. Basically, in the letter, Ramsey wrote, "We recommend the committee for providing liability protection to companies participating in voluntary information sharing, and applaud the committee's effort to work with a wide range of stakeholders to address issues such as strengthening private protections. Finally, having CISPA allows the opportunity of protecting U.S. citizens jobs in our economy. Even Representative Alice Hastings from Florida said CISPA could be used to combat the 25 million cybercrime victims she claims are targeted every day. Response to secondary claim 2. My opponent briefly explained that cyber warfare is messy and the potential for involving third parties. In fact, he introduced that IPAA could possibly be seized by attackers that breaks unrelated laws that contains personal information. Even though information can be stolen, according to healthandhumanservices.gov, HIPAA privacy rule basically protects individuals' medical records and other personal health information when it comes to data. It also allows clients to know right away where and how their information is going to be used. And my counterclaim in regards to HIPAA, which stands for Health Insurance Corporability and Accountability Act of 1966, is one of the best security methods that are able to protect personal and medical cyber warfare from becoming messy and involving third parties. The key part of HIPAA is that it depends on how carefully people use it. And from an article, HIPAA, it is good for security. John stated that the use of HIPAA standard is to help identify an appropriate level of security for your own environment. And therefore, let me ask, does HIPAA support your business? Is there security? Is there high level of security? Finally, is it complement? And the answer is yes, since it has been proven, coming from Article 1 that I recalled earlier, that they analyzed their security program where as undefined components supported that structure. Finally, moving on to my last claim, claim 3, which is referring to the escalation of cyber warfare and cyber crime as a norm. Basically, my opponent believes that companies and malicious hackers can get an arms race and question that legality is neutral and that companies will always lose. Truth is that it goes both ways, but it is legal for corporations to hack back since the CISPA has been passed for corporations and private organizations to hack back in a more responsible and respectful way that comes with proper procedures. In this logical case about cyber warfare and cybercrime, doesn't have supporting evidence stating that James Andrews Lewis Center for Strategic and International Studies says that hacking a remarkably bad idea that will harm the national interest. Well, according to GCN.com articles, 2009 GNC awards James Lewis Industry. James Lewis helps bring cybersecurity to the fore, and basically my counterclaim to this is that the escalation of cyber warfare and cybercrime as a norm can be preventable, according to e-zine articles. And the best way to avoid cybercrimes is making sure that website planners are specifically updated, making sure it is well planned and tested. There's also another method where a digital, it's called a digital certificate, that provides complete security for all parties involved in a transaction. And another method is that will help prevent cyber warfare norms is downloading from a trusted known source, such as good antiviruses like NOD32, ABG, and Nordic viruses, including firewalls, which is like a shell of detection that lets you know what's coming ahead. So in conclusion, corporations and private organizations should be allowed to hack back with the since Congress has approved, that bill has passed, and in the hope of CISP. Thank you.
There's more. Holy crap. I got 20 pages of stuff here. Which doesn't surprise me because it was 9 minutes and 15 seconds, so it was substantially overtime, Joy. You got a lot of stuff in here you need to do some editing on. All right, I think you found good information. It applies to the subject that's being talked about here. you need to simplify the information that you've got. I thought you did a little bit of that right at the end, but you need to be doing that throughout the speech, because what happens is you just get entrenched in explaining all of the history of these bills that's going on, what people are saying about it, so on and so forth. And ultimately, you need a simple claim that says, the CISPA gives us appropriate guidelines to control corporate security when they do this hacking, that kind of thing. And so we won't have those problems. That's basically the claim that you're making. They now know what the limitations are and where they can operate in regard to this. This bill gives them additional tools that helps fix those particular problems. And so the ability to defend yourself is now been ensconced in these laws, and the laws are clearly explaining what's going on. That's basically all you're saying in your argument. But there's just a whole bunch of verbiage, there's a lot of reading of sections and so on and so forth. You need to, like I said, edit it down to be a little bit clearer. But I did think that you found good information on the point, and your issues, I think, do apply to the argument that's being presented. There were a couple of places that you did a little bit of contrasting where you, in essence, said, look, the advocate doesn't provide us any source citation on this. They make these general statements. We have a quote here that we don't know who that person is that said those particular things, but according to this person or this organization who's responding to the change in the law, this is going to have all these benefits. So I'm willing to tell you who my source is and why they think this is going to fix the problem. You need a little bit more of that. You had a little bit right at the tail end. All right, thank you all for your patience tonight. And again,